That's very scary.
Women have to wear burqas. This is how it works.
Yeah.
What are you saying? Oh my God. 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 That's JD Vance sitting across from him going, Yup. Yup.
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
All right. How are you, sir?
Good, man. How are you doing?
Very nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too.
What is it like running for vice president of the United States? How crazy is this experience?
It's pretty weird. It's pretty weird. I was just telling you this earlier, but the first time that I've been in a public spot without Secret Service in the room is right now. So I'm like looking around for these guys because I'm used to just having them. It's 3 months, right? So he asked me the Monday of the RNC convention, which I think was June 15th. And I really didn't know that morning. I thought that he was probably going to pick me, but I didn't know for sure. Probably 60-40, basically. And so I had no idea. I get the call around 1 o'clock at Milwaukee time at the RNC convention. I'm hanging out with my kid. Another one of my kids is in the other room asleep because, our kids are young, so they nap still. And he makes this call, and he's like, hey, do you want to be my vice president? I was like, oh.
Was it literally just like that?
Well, actually, what happened is I get a text message from a staff member on his team that says he just missed a very important phone call. And I don't know, because there's so much inbound traffic that I think it just went straight to voicemail. So I call him back and I'm like, hey, sir, what's going on? He said, JD, you just missed a very important phone call. I'm going to have to pick somebody else now. So I'm about to brick here. And then he says, no, I'm just kidding. Obviously, I want you to be my vice president. And the funny thing is, my 7-year-old is in the background and he has no idea what's going on. And I love that, right? It's one of the good things about this. He has no clue what's going on. He's like, Dad, who are you talking to? He's talking about Pokemon cards, right? And Trump hears my son in the background.
And he's like, shut the f*** up, you stupid piece of shit. I hate you. I hate you so much is the real story that happened. But everyone was like, ew, you're gross. You're like a gross monster for saying that. So he changed his story to whatever he's delivering now. He literally was just like, you're a idiot. Shut the up. I'm talking to the president, dumbass.
And he says, well, who's that? And I said, that's my 7-year-old son, you. And he's like, put him on the phone.
Ew, Joe. You have no respect for yourself. You goddamn ape.
And Trump kind of chuckles, but also is probably judging me because it was a somewhat inappropriate joke for a 7-year-old to tell. But here we are.
Well, that's the only ones 7-year-olds remember.
That's right. Well, it's like, I have terrible language. I mean, it's one of my many flaws, but I was raised by my very working class grandmother. And she was actually very interestingly, she was a very devout Christian, but she also had, a language that would make a sailor blush. And so I talk like that because I was raised by this woman.
Those are fun ladies.
Those are fun ladies, man. She was she was awesome.
Oh, he loves JD. Oh, gross. How can you not see the fakeness? Oh God, he is eating the boot in its entirety. God damn. Why'd you skip like 30 seconds after pausing? I just wanted to move along with this, like, my child's story. I don't really care about it.
She was an amazing person, a huge personality, right? We called her a force of nature because she was such this big personality. But my wife's rule is, basically he's only allowed to cuss when he's telling this one joke. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah, so he told this joke to Donald Trump. Yeah, exactly. He says it 14 times a day.
Yeah, early on, I told my kids, you can swear in front of us. I go, but don't swear in front of other parents.
Right.
And don't swear for no reason.
Right.
This is Wemby's costume. Ain't no way. That's hilarious, dude. That's my number one pick, dog. Your number one pick can be pushed away with a light breeze, okay? That man needs to put more muscle on them bones. Okay, he's great. He's great. He would cook you. Yeah, no. He's like 7'14". Okay, he's 8'3". Yeah, he put on 15 pounds this summer. He needs to put on another 15. Keep talking like that. You won't be allowed in Texas. This ain't LA, buddy.
Well, because they judge you, right? The other parents judge you. How old are your kids?
Well, the youngest ones are 14 and 16, and I have a 28-year-old.
Okay.
But when my 14-year-old was 2, we were on a...
I'm just going to look at some of the highlights in this interview. I don't want to listen to everything. Here's a wonderful moment.
I think that, frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if me and Trump won just the normal gay guy vote. Because, again, they just wanted to be left the hell alone. And now you have all this crazy stuff on top of it. And I think that, frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if me and Trump won just the normal gay guy vote. Because, again, they just wanted to be left the
Oh, my God. He talked about AGP. There ain't no way, dude. He is so perma-fried from being online. Oh, my Lord, dude. That is insane. Dude, this is classic, like, chaser transphobe. Okay? I make an exception for myself for knowing what this is because of my endless amounts of coverage on transphobia. But if you're like a straight white guy, okay? If you're a straight white guy and know what AGP is, like, you're really tapped in. You're really, really invested. JD Vance on Joe Rogan's show talking about AGP, a discredited theory about being trans that states that being trans is just a fetish. Yeah. You have to be like a 4chan chaser to know what it is. Yeah, autogynephilia, chat. I don't think trans people know what it is. Brother, you aren't the only pro-trans guy. No, I'm just saying that, like, you would have to... The only way you would know what this is, if you're like a normal person that isn't like constantly thinking about trans issues, is if you have encountered it in the wild. And the only way that you encounter this in the wild is if you hear it from like either trans Twitter, your trans friends making jokes about it, or potentially from a rabid transphobe. I'm trans, I've never heard about it. Autogynephilia is like the idea that trans women are still biological males who have a fetish, as a male's propensity to be sexually aroused by the thought of himself as a female. Anyway, that's wild. Cool stuff from the normal gay guy. Anyway, Joe Rogan gives a more damning review of Tony Hinchcliffe's MSG performance than I possibly could imagine.
But I think Don Rickles was almost like, he was in this category of ultra famous comedian, right? He was in this Dave Chappelle type category, where just seeing Don Rickles, all of a sudden it was a comedy show.
AGP is based on a study that found that most trans women feel sexually aroused by being seen as a beautiful woman. The reason it's so easily debunked is if you do the study with cis women, they also feel sexually aroused when they get to feel pretty by a romantic partner.
Like, oh my God, Don Rickles is here. Tony Hinchcliffe does not have that, right? If Dave Chappelle went up and did 10 minutes in front of Donald Trump or 10 minutes in front of Kamala Harris, that's a different thing. Because it's like he's a cultural icon, and you immediately go into stand-up comedy mode. Like, oh, Chappelle's here, right? That's what Don Rickles had with Reagan. Tony doesn't have that. It's a bad thing to do. The whole thing's bad. It's like doing a bachelor party. Like when you have to do comedy at bachelor parties, they want whores and cocaine. Why is this guy telling jokes? But it's just a bad environment. It's a bad environment for comedy. And, you know, that joke, I would have told him, don't you dare do that joke. I never, like, sat down with him. I didn't know what bits he was going to do. But then I heard he did that joke. I was like, oh, Jesus, Tony. Here it comes.
I think there are comedians probably who... I think Tony's the wrong type of comedian for that environment. If you had someone 100%. Come in who wasn't a roast comedian, who actually made everyone feel good and like
you know
just
who
clean
who could do it and just talk about cultural issues and get everybody to laugh is Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is really good at that. He could do something like...
What the... Dude, oh my God. Brother, Joe Rogan is going to cook this campaign. Trump heard that and is like, well, time to activate Jimmy Dore now. The trigonometry guys are, I don't know. I'm very annoyed by them, but I think it could be because they're British. Like, they're too British.
Like that, because he's so knowledgeable when it comes to politics. He could bridge the gaps.
Ew, this guest is extremely pro-Israel and anti-Palestinian and anti-Muslim. Yeah, it's the Joe Rogan experience. That's not shocking.
Between humor and fact and reality and what we're up against. He could do that. But it's not Tony's wheelhouse, man. Tony's just talking shit about people's clothes.
Yeah, Joe literally said Tony would have been perfect not that long ago. Anyway, here is JD Vance to Rogan on Sharia law in Minnesota.
A lot of people, worst case scenario, when they start thinking about religious influence on... the way they're allowed to behave and the way their state is governed. Worst case scenario is a state adopts Sharia law. This is worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Bro, we are not living on the same planet with these people, man. I'm sorry. It's just like what the are you saying, dude? What are you saying? Do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? Like, worst case scenario is a state adopts Sharia law.
Yeah.
And I think all these people that would cry against the concept of Islamophobia really need to understand what that means. That's and right. What you're talking.
What are you saying? First of all, I don't think any single person that is advocating against Islamophobia, okay, saying that this is damaging, is also simultaneously going, and we want Sharia law. I'm a person who combats Islamophobia. No, there is no world where I'm saying like we need to be following any religious doctrine, let alone the false interpretation of like Islamic doctrine, whatever someone saw fit, whatever some fundamentalist decided is the appropriate standard. We are like saying this in the state of Texas is additionally funny, okay? Dog, you literally have Sharia for Christianity right now. But it doesn't read in the same way because you don't see Christianity as a threat in the way that you see Islam as a threat. America is barreling down, spiraling out of control with religious fundamentalism of the Christian variety. This dip has not one, but two of the prominent fixtures of said decline on his show, back to back. JD Vance, even nuttier than Donald Trump in terms of like Christo-fascism. Okay. Like Donald Trump is a narcissistic New York liberal, zesty, asexual, biromantic queen. Okay. We know this already. He loves opera. He loves Broadway musicals, yada, yada, yada. He doesn't give a fuck about Christianity nor the Bible. He just likes to act like he does in an effort to lure in suckers. JD Vance, on the other hand, is a uniquely demonic figure. He is a real recent convert. Okay. And this is interviewing potentially the next vice presidential candidate who, if given the opportunity, would absolutely implement Christian fascist principles, like Christian fundamentalist fascist principles in this country. And he's like, you know what's a real problem? Sharia law. What are you saying? What is the Christian equivalent of Sharia law? Here's a quick example. Not allowing women to vote, revoking women's right to choose a medical procedure that they should be allowed to get, no fault divorce being banned, any number of different things. Not allowing gay people to get married, not allowing trans people to exist. Now, of course, for Joe Rogan, all that stuff is good. It doesn't read as like religious fundamentalism.
Talking about, and to say that that's an outrageous and ridiculous idea that's never going to take place, it's kind of already worked its way into some societies.
It has.
It has. And there are, is it Minnesota that has call to prayer? Like, is it Minneapolis?
I don't know where. I know that there is a place in Minnesota, I believe, where they have prayer calls as a matter of local government. I do think that's happening.
What? Are they saying that there is a call to prayer in a majority Muslim area, so there's like mosques? Is that what he's saying? Because a call to prayer is the same as a church bell, dumbass. What the are you? What? Minneapolis becomes first major U.S. city to broadcast Islamic call to prayer 5 times a day. Minneapolis will allow broadcast of the Muslim call to prayer at all hours, becoming the first major U.S. city to allow the announcement or azan or adhan to be heard over speakers 5 times a day year round. It's literally the same principle behind a church bell. What are you? What? Ezan. Ezan is how we say it in Turkish. I'm from Australia. Is freedom of religion just not a thing in the US? I mean, it is, or it's supposed to be, but I think they're just racist. I don't know. Like, I mean, that's what it is. It's got to be it, right? I literally live in Minneapolis. Not one person complains about this. Not one person. Not really. The prayer is saying for 5 minutes, at least when I was in Iran. Okay. Someone needs to explain to me what the problem is with the call to prayer being broadcasted from a mosque. Guy who's in Iran. What's with all the Muslims? Yeah. It's like a Nick Mullen joke, dude. What's up with all these Muslims here? I mean, I don't want to hear any religious shit. Yeah, shut up, dude. Come on, brother. That's a ridiculously annoying r/atheism nonsensical bullshit. Okay, it's not like religious domination, dude. It is no different than, again, the church bells. The problem is people know Islam is from the Middle East, but forget that Jesus is also from Palestine. We think he's from Kansas with blonde hair and blue eyes. Look up Shabbat Siren Crown Heights. Yeah, like I want to hear the call to science 5 times a day. Yeah, that's what I need. Excuse me, don't say bless you when I sneeze, please. I'm an atheist. I never say, oh my God. I say, oh my science. Bibles in schools is okay. Call to prayer bad. No, that's the point. Bibles in schools is not okay. That's a whole different thing. Having one of the major religions that have like a big chunk of the population in Minneapolis have a call to prayer, to me, and maybe it's because I grew up in Turkey and I heard the call to prayer 5 times a day, and it's not a thing that even tracks with me when I hear it. But it's just not, I don't know, it's just not a thing. It's no different than like when I stayed next to a massive church in Australia, and yeah, the church bells rang like a lot. That chatter thinks that when you hear it, they have to pray. Like, it's not for you. Yeah. Like, what do you think? Like, you think Muslims hear the call to prayer and then activates like their Islamic, anti-American, anti-Christian beliefs? Is that what it is?
That starts getting real weird.
Yeah. Well,
stuff like that starts getting real weird. And when you have people that are openly saying our goal is, and they've talked about this in Toronto, like activists have said, our goal is to outbreed everyone who is not Muslim. And
dude, come on, dude, we have to ban Facebook. We have to get grandpa off Facebook. Okay. You're a whole ass man, dude. You got children. You're soon to have grandchildren. Like, what are you saying? What are you saying?
And
it scares the hell out of
voted
me.
out and
it's very frustrating because, like, Kaya, it's very frustrating. Place. Because this is like some direct European style Islamophobia. Okay. This is a European version of Islamophobia. It's very, very annoying that we're reaching European levels of Islamophobia. Like, we're just biting their now.
Put Sharia law in place.
Yeah, that's very scary.
Women have to wear burqas. This is how it works.
Yeah.
What are you saying? Oh my God. 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 That's JD Vance sitting across from him going, Yep.
That's what to me is so crazy about some of the hyper left-wing reaction to, the idea that like somehow I want to force every man, woman, and child to go to my church is ridiculous. I just don't want to do that. I've never had any.
Brother, you are literally talking about hearing the azan as like Sharia law being implemented in a state. That is precisely the point there. If you don't got no problem with church bells, okay, but you have an issue with a call to prayer, then yeah, you want one thing to exist and then the other not to. This is white people in Dearborn racism. There is no, like, what are you talking about? I mean, even Turkey itself in its entire existence, like, absolutely guts this argument. My mom would laugh at the idea of wearing a hijab, like, straight up. And she wouldn't even laugh. She'd be actually very angry if I suggested that to her. But like, it's so ridiculous. Like, what do you mean? Oh yeah, all Muslims are monolith. They would never. Every Muslim woman has to wear a hijab. It's like, I think a lot of people don't understand that, like, whether it is a direct consequence of social conditioning or not, like, there are people who choose to do it. Okay, what is it to you? You know what I mean? What is it to you? I don't see you running around ripping that shit off of nuns. Who cares? Imagine going to Brooklyn or like the Bronx or whatever, like, and just like ripping the wigs off of like Orthodox Jewish women and being like, no, you are being oppressed. That would be ridiculous. You should go to jail for that. That is a hate crime. Okay. Like, what is this? Like, what the is going on? I feel like Joe Rogan would be the type of dude who'd want to mandate everyone wake up at 4 a.m. The Fajr Adhan would help with that, bro. I mean, you are not wrong. Islam in that sense is the perfect religion for Joe Rogan. It's the wake up at 4 a.m. religion. So, fasting too. Joe Rogan loves fasting. Yeah, I heard these Muslims, they do fasting. Bro, Joe is way too close in proximity to the UFC to be able to talk like this about Islam. It's actually quite alarming that he just does not, like, he has access, and I know he respects these people, okay? He has access to some of the top dogs of Islam, including but not limited to literally dudes named Islam, okay? Like, what? I don't understand this. Like,
any interest in doing that. But where you see actual real religious tyranny.
Are you kidding me, dude? Dana was at the Trump rallies? Yeah, brother. Also, Dana is one step removed from saying the Shahada. Okay? What do you mean? Right now, the UFC at every weight class is about to have a Muslim, Dagestani, or Russian guy be the champion, the belt holder. I don't know if you're aware of this or not. Like, virtually every weight class of the UFC is about to have a Muslim, Dagestani dude, potentially. It could happen, okay? No, I'm saying it's 3 weight classes. Alex Pereira is also Muslim, so there's that. Wait, what? I'm a Muslim progressive fan of the UFC. It's so sad seeing some of the fighters on the caucus being fans of Donald Trump. Why is that a bad thing? Did I ever suggest it as a bad thing? I did not. I'm saying that if there's one person who should be, like, directly humanized, okay? If there's one person who should be directly humanized by being around a ton of Muslims, it's people who are close to the UFC, people who are associated with the UFC. Joe Rogan being the guy. Shocking that he's this Islamophobic. He don't look that Islamophobic when he's on stage sitting next to Islam Makhachev or whatever, you know? He doesn't come across like that when he's over there interviewing them, like, oh my God, what a fantastic fight you put on. What do you have to say to the world? You know? What's that about? Why are you acting different over here? Those guys, well, that's a person, not a religion. Yeah, but he's speaking disrespectfully about that person's religion, these people that he respects. Sometimes you have to connect it to the person, the religion that they believe. Yeah, they do, like, they literally say Allahu Akbar before they go and fight. Brothers will not take kindly to this, brothers. It's not just that. It's also like these guys have literally caused, I think it was Sean Strickland, into submission. Okay. They got one of the dumbest, most racist MMA fighters on the planet. And that is a very target rich environment to openly respect Islam, the religion. Okay. They also secretly use steroids. Okay, Cope. Muslims are only good under 155. No one cares about weight below 170. They also secretly, this is the Islamophobia hour right here. It was my personal 9/11. Also, it's pretty funny to say this when John Jones exists, who happens to be Dana White's favorite fighter. Seems to me like there's a little bit of a double standard here. They're using steroids. Dana White is John sexual? Yeah.
Is increasingly in Western societies where you've had a large influx of immigrants who don't necessarily assimilate into Western values, but try to create, I think, a religious tyranny at the local level. And if you think that won't happen at a national level, you're crazy.
Hey, people will swim in the ocean even though there are definitely many corpses in it. People will not swim in a pool with a corpse in it. What is your dead body to water ratio? That's actually a fantastic question. The answer is I don't go in the ocean. And now you've given me another reason as to why I shouldn't go in the ocean. New energetic entrance of Hamzat Shimaev. Every single fighter does this. Literally every single one. My favorite thing about the Dagestani camp is that they all speak, like, a lot of them speak English. I think it's fantastic. They're so smart. They literally are like, yeah, you need to speak English so you can do promo, so that Dana White will let you, Dana White will give you better opportunities. And they all do it.
First of all, I want to say, Alhamdulillah, God gave me everything. Alhamdulillah, tomorrow night, I'm going to smash your boy, guys.
What was he saying in this? He's like, go to sleep.
There's the tag. Still undisputed. Alhamdulillah, undisputed, undefeated UFC lightweight champion.
Hamzat on Palestine after post.
Hamzat still undefeated. What a fantastic fight.
Hey guys, salam alaikum, Abu Dhabi.
The Dagestanis also have like insane hairlines, dude. Their hairline reaches their eyebrows. I don't know what's going on there.
Doesn't matter. Please, guys.
Mashallah is touching, dude. He's Chechen, my bad, and Chechens too.
Together, let us live in this world good, and let us be happy. Thank you, guys.
Your hairline, yeah, my hairline is busted because I'm Turkish, and also, Allah's light is lost upon me a long time ago, and I do not pray 5 times a day, nor do I fast for Ramadan. What is this? No, smile. Maybe Joe's Islamophobic because these guys keep winning. No, Joe respects these dudes. Okay, most of the UFC hogs respect these dudes. I would go so far as to say that a lot of these UFC hogs are less Islamophobic because of these dudes than the average liberal. Okay, I'm not even kidding. I think the UFC being dominated by so many Muslim fighters has dramatically improved Islam's stats and broad reception among some of the biggest hogs. It's like, because these guys respect prowess. Okay? They respect technical prowess. They respect good fighters. They respect discipline. And a lot of these Muslim fighters have earned that respect.